This is Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily with Andrew Hustler Paterson and Michael Remis.
What is up, everyone? We finally dropped the puck on men's hockey at the Olympic Games. Canada is 1-0, and we are here to break it all down for you on Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily. Welcome to the program. Andrew Paterson, Michael Remis, Connor Rabchak coming at you, and we'll have a big show today. We're going to go live to Italy. Mike McIntyre was in the building covering it for the Winnipeg Free Press. He will join us just after 1:30 p.m. and at the top of hour 2 of the show, Cabo Kenny himself, Ken Wiebe, on location down in Mexico. I know Ken was locked into the game today. We'll get his thoughts on Canada's performance and a look ahead to the game against Switzerland tomorrow afternoon. Quick programming note. Tomorrow the game starts at 2:10. No one wants to be watching us live when the game is on. So we're splitting the show tomorrow. We will be live at 1 o'clock. We will have all the latest from the Olympic Games. We will count down to puck drop on the program just before 2:10 and the opening face-off. We will end the stream. We'll post the first half of the program. And then afterwards, as soon as the game is over, we'll fire back up. Connor will sort of QB a bit of a post-game with Michael and Liz here on the program to finish up the day. So a busy day tomorrow on both ends of Canada's game. We'll have live coverage on the YouTube channel. And of course, all of it will be able to be accessed on the Winnipeg Sports Talk podcast feed. Listen, we're going to be talking about all the great stuff that happened in Canada's game today. The one unfortunate bit of news was Josh Morrissey leaving the game. And I think, like most of you, I didn't really see anything too significant. Michael Russo, who is covering it for The Athletic, tweeted this out, that Morrissey played one shift to start the second. Nothing really happens other than a nothing check from Palat. His last shift of the first period with about 1:16 left, he clanked left legs with Nakash and looked like he felt something coming up the ice. Now, they had said that Josh came back, tried to go, couldn't. There's been no diagnosis at all. They hope to have him back in the tournament, but as of right now, it's sort of a wait and see on Josh Morrissey. And I mean, listen, you can't help but just feel gutted for Josh. When you think about what happened at the Four Nations with that brutal illness that had him leave the building and have to try to watch the game from the hotel as Team Canada won the gold medal after being such a big part of the tournament up until that point. Really disappointing for Josh. And I mean, it's probably even worse in this case. The Olympic Games, the culmination of a lifelong dream on a roster with 8 defensemen and another guy dressed that the second year out, someone's taken your spot. Listen, if Josh Morrissey's good to go, they are going to want him on the ice. But everyone here in Winnipeg, and I think across the country, sending positive vibes 44's way, hoping that he'll be able to return at some point in the tournament. I guess considering what happened today, I'd say it's doubtful that he'd be able to play tomorrow. They might even take it easy in France and hope that he's able to go in the qualifying round or the quarterfinals, semifinals as well. But what a start for Canada. 5-0 win over the Czechs. We're going to get to all of it with the fellas coming up in just a second. Welcome to everyone that's with us live on YouTube. Make sure to, like you did today, jump on the channel tomorrow right afterwards for immediate reaction on the Canada-Swiss game. I do want to thank the sponsors that make WST happen each and every day. Of course, our partners at CoolBet, the Winnipeg Jets, Chuds Power Sports. I've got a great Chuds Power Sports Power Poll coming up with the top 5 Canadian takeaways from today's game. Clean Line, Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical. Princess Auto, Uptown Alley, the St. B Mega Millions Lottery. Deadline tonight for the winter bonus, or the ultimate bonus, I should say, which includes that World Cup package. So get those tickets today, stbmegamillion.ca. We've got Rolly's Transfer, St. Mattel Dental Center, and Canadian Club, Uptown Alley, Manitoba Battery, as well as Boston Pizza, Royal Sports, Little Brown Jug. And we'll get to a why not question of the day for Not Autocorp at Waverly and McGillivray. Let's get the boys in here. Canada is 1-0. 12 years later, we are back to best on best in Olympic hockey. And Remo, I know your favorite thing about the game was the lack of digital board ads as your tweet goes more and more viral. But let's focus on the game here for a minute. How about that performance from the red and white?
Yeah, it was great. I could actually watch the game as there wasn't a slideshow happening behind that unbelievable power play. It was incredible. I mean, so long we've been waiting for this. Better than the Four Nations. You felt like they were playing for something. They were going hard, throwing the body around right off the bat. And it seemed like all the questions that we had about goaltending, Jordan Binnington was up to the task, answered all of them. You know, what's it like seeing this generational power play with McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby? I mean, imagine having to defend that. It was incredible to watch. I love morning hockey. Made my bagel and coffee, came downstairs in my pajamas, watched the game. So much fun. So tough about Josh Morrissey, but I mean, Olympic hockey is back. We got, men's. There's another game coming up at 2. In Canada, up 5-0. And it's been a while since they've given up a goal as well, going back to 2014 with NHL players.
We've actually got 2 games coming up at 2:10. Germany and Denmark, Ehlers, Draisaitl, and then, of course, USA against the Latvians. Connor, long time waiting, and, Team Canada was worth the wait today.
It really was. That was so much fun. I mean, we had so many questions going in. We talked all week about the goaltending and the Celebrini McDavid duo and just up and down the lineup, so many things. And I felt like, not that these questions were answered today, but it was nice to start the tournament off with just a 5-0, no sweat, dominant win. I mean, that first period was definitely the closest of the 3 periods. Binnington came out strong. And then the second and third period were all Canada. I mean, Canada even scored a goal that you can talk about the penalty. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. That got wiped out and put Czechia on the power play. So they were buzzing. And how about Connor McDavid throwing the first big hit for Canada in the Olympics? Like, I did not have that on my bingo card. Tom Wilson, Sam Bennett, Brandon Hagel, all these guys setting the tone. McDavid comes flying down and crushes a defender. That was awesome to kick off the game.
I thought it was Wilson.
I mean,
it
too.
happened so quickly.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, huge hit. That must be. Wait a sec, that was McDavid. And he, listen, speed kills.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of momentum going on it. But that hit on that first shift, I think told you all you need to know about how focused and how committed every one of these players is, led by 97, to staying on top of the world in the sport that we consider our national game. I mean, McDavid was so brilliant today. He legitimately set the tone, I thought, with that hit. Was dangerous every time he was on the ice. And as we talked about, there was so intriguing, that combination with Tom Wilson and especially Macklin Celebrini. And I'll say this, his line mate Celebrini, I mean, the fact that he was in elementary school the last time we saw best on best in the Olympics is sort of funny. There was no looking out of place or kind of waiting to feel a part of it. I thought he kept up. I thought he was dangerous, and obviously was Connor the goal scorer when Canada got on the board first.
Yeah, Celebrini, the 19-year-old, getting the first of the tournament. You love to see that. And that duo was just so much fun. Obviously, Tom Wilson as well doing the dirty work. He deserves a lot of credit. But Celebrini and McDavid are just such crafty players. They're doing so many fancy things in the offensive zone. And Dmitry Filipovich, who we've had on Sunday Live before for Sportsnet, does the Hockey PDO-cast, tweeted this out after the game. Czechia had 12 scoring chances in the game. This is his own personal tracking. And Connor McDavid created 14 on his own. And that doesn't account for McKinnon and Crosby and Horvat, who scored a goal. Like I tweeted out during the game, Bo Horvat scores on a goal from Brad Marchand. That's Canada's fourth line. Both of those guys are playing at a 45-goal pace this year in the National Hockey League. Like this team offensively is just so loaded. And then you look at the D-core. We'll obviously talk a lot about Josh Morrissey. Hope everything's okay with him. But I thought Harley and Doughty and Theodore stepped up. And then Binnington. I mean, the puck handling is on full display. I think that's a big asset for Canada, that they can have a goalie that can move the puck. But 26 save shutout. And got to give a shout out to Matt Larkin yesterday, who made a pretty compelling case to start Binnington, to know what Canada has in net. And I think it's safe to take away that, you know, St. Louis Jordan Binnington is not Team Canada Jordan Binnington. And he was great today when he needed to be.
Yeah, listen, I'll mention that. I mean, I don't know how many times over the course of this season I've said, I don't know about Binnington. And then, you know, we heard that there's likely that they're going to start him. And we're like, has anyone been watching the NHL this year? I mean, he's had a terrible season. But listen, give credit where credit is due. He is a guy that is able to just be in the moment. And, you know, the greatest athletes are the one that can come up the biggest when it counts the most. And, like, I don't know, does this make the 1.6 seconds and the comeback against the Blues in Game 7 look even better than it already did? I guess maybe that's some solace we can take out of it. The bottom line was everyone, myself included, that had questioned the decision to go with Binnington for anything other than a last resort were shown to be wrong today. He was poised. He was incredibly composed. And listen, I thought he made some really good saves, especially in that first period. I mean, who knows what happens? I mean, ask the Finns what happened when all of a sudden they gave up the first goal in the game and they battled to come back and then give up another one and then end up losing. Binnington was full marks today. I mean, obviously had the shutout. He is a brilliant, he's brilliant with the puck. I mean, you know, sometimes I know you sometimes like to err on the side of caution and let the defenseman do things, but, you know, his puck movement and the ability to play it, I think, allowed Canada to break out and, you know, had a couple nice chances. But the bottom line was he looked incredibly focused. And Remis, there was a point in the third period when Faxa took a liberty with him, and there was no reason for him to kind of fall into Binnington, but he did. And let's face it, if that happens in a regular season game, he's losing his mind. He's whacking him with the blocker. There's a big scrum. Harley goes in there to give Faxa the business a little bit, and Binnington's like, almost don't worry about it. That was as composed and ice cold as we've seen Jordan Binnington since overtime of the Four Nations. And frankly, he did it exactly when this country needed him to. And I know that a lot of the doubters, and again, I will include myself in that category, feeling a lot better about the goaltending situation for Team Canada based on what Binner did in the net today.
Yeah, well, the one guy who never doubted Jordan Binnington was the head coach of Team Canada, John Cooper. Asked him, hey, when did you know Binnington was starting? And he said, well, 365 days ago, whenever, you know, the last game, the Four Nations was. He's been their guy, and we definitely had a lot of questions, and I think deserved questions. His numbers behind the Blues, you know, haven't been good this year. And there's another Canadian goalie on the Blues in Joel Hofer playing on the same team who had much, you know, has better numbers and has overtaken the job as the starter. So, you know, seems kind of crazy that they would go with Binnington, but he definitely earned it based on winning the Four Nations last year and how he played and that overtime, how he kept them in that game. So he's in their first game, and he was great tonight or this morning. We'll see what happens with Game 2. But full credit to him, and it's got to be nice, you know, playing behind the Canada defense, Huss. I mean, it's defense with Makar, and you had Theodore, Doughty, Parayko. You know, Morrissey's injured, but you know, Harley, a great group of defensemen, you know, that plays so well I think there's something to be said about doing that than playing behind maybe the Blues defense that won't have the structure and talent of Team Canada.
Yeah, it was interesting that, Theodore early on was almost the seventh defenseman. They were playing Drew Doughty. And listen, I'm going to get to this in the Chuds Power Sports Power Poll for the top Canadian takeaways. We'll do that after Ken and Mike jump on with us towards the end of the program. But I thought the way the defense played and stepped up and handled themselves mainly in their own end. It's great to have world-class offensive defensemen. And the Canadians do, and certainly in Makar and Morrissey's there for the time that he was out there. Theodore certainly has that ability to do that, and he'll be a part of the power play, that second unit. But really, they need to take care of business in their own end and get the puck to the Canadian forwards and get it out of their own end and let the boys do it. And that's exactly what happened today. A great start overall. But, two sides of it. Some of the old heads, Sid looked amazing. Mark Stone had himself a game. That play by Marner to Stone on the checking line, that's the line that's set to be Canada's shutdown line, was great. But how about the debutants? Celebrini getting his first goal. I thought Tom Wilson was impactful and a huge part of that top line. And Bo Horvat, Nick Suzuki getting in on it as well. So, Connor, you look at, everyone seemingly had a piece of this one, and hard to imagine the opener going much better for Canada.
That's the thing, Huss. If you told me Canada would beat Czechia 5-0, obviously you take that every day. But the way they did it and the goal scorers along the way, Horvat, Suzuki, Celebrini, 3 guys that weren't here last year. The only forward that wasn't here in the Four Nations that didn't score today was Tom Wilson. And we all saw the impact he made on the game. And then you look at the goaltending. That was a big question mark. Obviously, even at the Four Nations last year, and we're having the exact same conversation this year, and Binnington is doing the same thing, at least through the first game with the shutout. But to me, another question mark, and with Morrissey going out, this question mark is going to become an even bigger one, is the defense core. Obviously, Makar and Taves are going to play 25 plus minutes a night and when the games matter the most, maybe even creep up to 30 minutes. But the bottom pairing, Harley hadn't had that great of a season so far for Dallas. Doughty's getting up there in age. Could he keep up with the pace? Shea Theodore got hurt the Four Nations, so we don't really have that sample from him, but he's a great defenseman, but missed time this year. There were question marks kind of at the bottom of Canada's defense core, and you brought it up there, Huss. I thought Harley, Theodore, Doughty, even Parayko, I thought all of them defended very well, managed the puck well, defended one-on-one well. David Pastrnak did turn Drew Doughty inside out once, but it's Pastrnak. He does that to everyone all the time. So to me, the first period was an even one. Binnington stepped up when he needed to, and then from that point forward, you could really go up and down the lineup and make a case for every single Canadian player having a strong game. They got a goal from every single forward line. Even the bottom of their defense core was strong. And of course, the goaltender as well. But yeah, that checking line, Huss, it's not bad when you have Sidney Crosby as your third line center shutting down the opposition's best.
No, it was. And this is T-Will's in the chat. No, this is a troll chat from T-Will as usual. Usually don't get to these so early. Huss, you've sold me. How can you go wrong with a team full of vets? I'm sure this is some sort of backhanded insult at the Jets for being too old, knowing T-Will. But listen, T-Will, if you'd prefer Canada not to have Sidney Crosby or Mark Stone or Brad Marchand, I'm just happy that you're not the GM. Well, let's just say that.
I was just going to say, the last thing I'm thinking about during this game is the crappy Jets season so far.
Agreed.
I'm just sitting back enjoying.
Yes.
T-Will, I know where T-Will's mind is, but holy crap, you can't even enjoy a Canada win. You're just miserable about the Jets season. T-Will, relax.
Listen, if there was ever a season to have a bad one, which we are certainly in the midst of, this is the one to do it because of this exact reason, guys. You can get away. You can free yourself from all of your frustration and angst about our local team. Listen, joking aside, though, it is just brutal that Josh is out.
Yeah.
And I am really hopeful that he'll find a way to get back into it. And I know that, and maybe for him personally, listen, if this was last year and this had happened to Morrissey right now, that the organization would be absolutely freaking out. they probably would say, no, he's done. He's not playing anymore. Like, I don't care if there's a chance that he can come back. We need him too badly for this stretch. In the situation the Jets are in right now, I think it's green light. If Josh can find a way to get into the lineup, do it. I mean, they owe it to him. And let's face it, based on what I think the majority of fans that have sort of come to peace with where the team is at right now in the standings and know that, we don't need to be saving up for long extended playoff runs of whiteout games, that, if they have to shut Josh down for a while after the playoffs and play some younger guys, might not be the worst thing for the organization as well. This is more about the person. Josh Morrissey is one of Canada's best defensemen, deserves to be on this team, deserves to be out there. And that was the one really tough bit of news coming out of this game today. But, Connor, we'll talk more about this a little later on afterwards when we go through, and I'm sure you guys will have some thoughts on the game. There's not an area of this team right now. It was goaltending was what kind of worried people. It was perfect tonight. I thought the blue line was, even better than I think could have been expected, particularly in their own end. And then, my God, when that puck was in the other team's end, it was stupid. And the power play goal that went from McDavid to McKinnon, that's just simply unfair, is what that is. And I think it was kind of neat that those two guys connected on it, because as much as Sidney Crosby is the heart and soul of this team, those two dudes are the alphas on this team. McDavid right from the gate, McKinnon every single shift, playing with some different players, maybe in a different role, not being that number one guy. Hard not to feel pretty confident that those two dudes are going to find a way to win every time this team takes the ice and come back with a gold medal for Canada.
Yeah, don't take a penalty against Canada, Huss. That's a big takeaway from today's game. Not only did that go from McDavid to McKinnon, it started at the top and went from Makar to Crosby, down to the goal line to McDavid, and then over to McKinnon. Like, that is nuts. Those are four of the top players in the world right now on the power play. So that was incredible. And yeah, Huss, I think you're bang on with your take on the game, where we know McDavid is good and we know McKinnon's good and Crosby and all of these guys. But for the bottom of the defense core to look great and for the goaltending to look great are encouraging signs going forward. And the Czechs by no means are a pushover. They have NHL talent. They won the Worlds a few years ago with largely the same roster, even adding a few strong NHLers to this roster. So I don't think you could have scripted a better start to the tournament for Canada, where all four forward lines chipped in. The defense core looked steady, protected the front of the net, and Jordan Binnington pitches a shutout, 26 saves. And even, the goal that was called back, Huss, floats a backhand 2 zones up to Suzuki, who chips it to the middle, and then McKinnon scores, but it gets wiped out to a penalty. Like, the puck handling, I think, is something that Binnington excels at and flies under the radar a little bit because, rightfully so, his save percentage in the NHL is .860. But for a team like Canada that strictly just wants to get the puck up the ice and get it to these generational forwards, I think Binnington can help them do that. And when he stops every single shot that he faces too, it's you can have your cake and eat it too.
I've got a fun why not question of the day, but we'll save it for a little later on. Maybe I'll throw it out with when Mike or Ken are on with us, and we can talk about it in the chat. Do you want to get ready for Mike to join us from Italy in just a minute, being at the game? I'm sure he's finishing up. But considering you guys will be kind of driving the bus after the game tomorrow, let's get to this right now. Let's each take a player of the game. For it. And you know what? And I'll start off. Listen, there's really no wrong answers. There were so many guys that were part of it. But I'm going to give it to Binnington. I feel I owe it to give it to Binnington after the amount of second guessing I had of him being on the team, never mind being the starting goaltender. And that was a performance that shut a lot of people up. He was so solid throughout it. I thought he kept composure. A lot of the things that have been problematic in the NHL, we saw none of it, and he basically put that Canadian jersey and turned on to that guy that had a Superman thing on his chest in the overtime of the Four Nations. So plenty of worthy guys. I'm giving player of the game to Jordan Binnington for his performance in this morning's game. Remis, what about you?
Yeah, this is an easy one for me. It has to be Connor McDavid. A lot of talk about him, seeing him on this stage in a best-on-best tournament. And who are his line mates going to be? Fit in seamlessly with Celebrini and Tom Wilson. You saw his speed flying up and down the ice, got on the score sheet with 3 assists, played 18 minutes, 6 shots on goal. And Connor mentioned earlier, his chances created on his own was a more than Czechia. So, McDavid, he is on another level, and he was my pick for player of the game.
Connor, we took the two maybe more obvious ones.
I'll go off the board.
There's no wrong with it. If you were doing a 3 stars and those 2 were selected, who's next up for you?
Yeah, since you guys took the 2 stars, and I love the McDavid pick, especially the fact that he set the tone physically, like crushing the Czechia defender early. I absolutely love that. I'm going to go off the board for this one. We saw Josh Morrissey get hurt. Thomas Harley, 2 assists in the game, stepped up, played more in the absence of Josh Morrissey. And again, he was a player that with Dallas this season maybe hasn't had the same dominant impact that he had last year and earned him that Four Nations spot. But at the Four Nations, he filled in and was great. And in this game, again, Josh Morrissey goes down, so he has to play more minutes. I thought he was steady. I thought he cleared the front of the net well, made a nice outlet pass on the one to Marchand, went to Horvat, and Canada took a 3-0 lead. So for Thomas Harley, who had to step up and play 20 minutes tonight, 20 minutes of time on ice for Thomas Harley in Josh Morrissey's absence. I don't think Canada had planned to play him that much if Morrissey was healthy. I'm going to give him my 3rd star after you guys took the first 2 obvious ones there.
You know what? I think that's a hell of a choice. And as I say, there's plenty of guys that we could have tabbed on it, but those were 3 guys that were all big-time difference makers for. Okay, Mike McIntyre is going to join us in just a minute from Italy. Gang, tonight's the night, midnight deadline, the ultimate bonus deadline for the St. Boniface Hospital Mega Million Choices Lottery. Do not wait. Go to stbmegamillionchoices.ca and get your tickets by midnight tonight, and you'll be eligible for over $140,000 worth of prizes in the ultimate bonus, $75,000 cash, the choice of 3 trucks, a 2026 Genesis Electrified, a 26 Chevy Silverado, a 26 Mitsubishi Outlander, and $20,000 travel voucher or $75,000 cash. We got 8 $5,000 shopping sprees at St. Vital Polo Park or the Outlet Collection Mall, and the World Cup experience. Tickets, hotel, airfare for 2 to a 2026 World Cup soccer game in Vancouver, and $2,000 cash. That's the one that I'm really hoping of winning. And of course, I got my tickets already. But the deadline is tonight for the ultimate bonus. You'll be in for that. You'll be in for over $280,000 worth of early bird prizes still to be given out. And of course, the grand prize, your choice of one of 5 $1.5 million dream home packages or $1.25 million cash. It's all in support of the very important and great work at the St. Boniface Hospital. So stbmegamillionchoices.ca. Do not wait. Get in for the ultimate bonus prizes before midnight tonight. And you can also pick them up in person at Red River Co-op locations or London Drugs. Hey, Monday is Louis Riel Day. Nice little long weekend. And our friends at Uptown Alley have their Power Play Mondays deal. And it's valid on Holiday Monday. $9.99 for a 3-pack of laser tag and $10.49 for 90 minutes of bowling per person. If you haven't booked yet, they are filling up. They're sold out for a few popular times. But jump on that. Plan to take the family out at the most awesome place for family fun in the city, Uptown Alley. 5-pin, 10-pin, the arcade, amazing food and drink. Find out more online, uptownalley.ca. And you can find out more on this one on their Instagram. Give them a follow, Uptown Alley 204. Dial 488-0000 to book lanes today. Shout out to our friends at Rolly's Transfer. Gang, if you're moving this year, Lean on Rollies, the most trusted name in moving, to get all of your precious belongings from point A to point B. Family owned and operated for over 60 years, the most trusted name in moving in Manitoba. Request an estimate on their website at rollies.com. Use the promo code WST for a special discount on moving services and moving supplies, and let them know when and where you're moving, what needs to go, and they'll turn around with a great quote and get you locked in for the white glove treatment that they've been famous for now into their 7th decade. For all your moving needs, there's only one place to turn, and that's Rollies Transfer, the most trusted name in the game. Find out more and request an estimate over at rollies.com. And hey, all smiles on Canadian hockey fans today after the return of Best on Best and a big win. Speaking of smiles, if your smile needs a little work, call our pal Dr. Terry and the great people at St. Patel Dental Center, 167 St. Anne's. Beautiful new facility with all the state-of-the-art equipment and convenient free parking right behind the building. And they do it all, cleanings, checkups, all the way to things like dental implants for clients from 6 months to 99 plus. They've been doing it for generations of Winnipeggers and Manitobans. It can be your long-term dental home for you and your family for everything you need. Make an appointment and find out more today at stpateldental.ca and tell them the boys that WST sent you. All right. This is an all-timer. Mike McIntyre joins us from Milan, Italy, right after Canada's opening win. And Mike, the background, is that the rink that is right behind you right now as you walk into the Italian night?
Sure is, Huss. I thought I'd give you and the folks who are viewing this a special treat. So I made my way out of the arena, made my way out of the media center. Here, let me flip the camera here. I'll give you a little tour. So what's happening right now? You've got a lot of American fans are starting to walk into the building because Team USA is playing in about half an hour. There's also some Latvian fans. I've heard dueling USA and Latvia chants, but there's the beautiful, and it really is spectacular, especially from the outside. You'd never know, Huss, how much they had to rush to get this building done, at least when you're in the rink. The rest of it, there's not a whole lot of amenities. It looks like a building that got rushed, but the actual hockey rink itself, is pretty spectacular. Let me flip back to yours truly here. There we are. The rink is spectacular, and the players have all said good things about the ice conditions and their amenities, the locker room, stuff like that. It's funny, one whole end of the rink is just tarped off, and there's no seats. And I was told that's where they just ran out of time. That they had planned to have about 4,000 more seats built, so they only have about 3/4 of an upper deck. But great venue and some great hockey on display here. So we've already had, for folks who don't know how the schedule works, so there's a triple header here today. This is like going back to the bubble, the COVID bubble, only with actual attendance and atmosphere. But you'll remember back in Edmonton where there would be multiple games in one day in the same building. So that's what's happening here. We had Switzerland playing earlier today. Got to watch Nino Niederreiter and talk to him after. Team Canada, of course, just wrapped up about an hour ago here. And now we're going to have Connor Hellebuck and Kyle Connor and company in the U.S. So it's hockey heaven, Huss, for yours truly to get to plunk yourself down in one building for 10 hours and see the best players on the planet, from 6 different countries. It doesn't get any better than that.
No, I couldn't agree more. And, it was hockey heaven for everyone, with the exception of Josh Morrissey today. Mike, yeah. I know you were there after the game. I mean, we don't have a ton of information right now, but what can you tell us about what we believe happened to Josh, his condition, and his potential to return to the lineup in the tourney?
Yeah, so no immediate update from John Cooper, who admitted to us that he actually hadn't even talked to doctors or Josh Morrissey himself yet. The hope is that this was more precautionary than anything too serious. But I guess what the concern would be is this, Huss. Like, I went back and watched the video clip, and there's kind of 2 clips I think that are interesting. One was on what was Josh Morrissey's last shift of the first period, where he is behind the net, and Marty Necas kind of comes around, and it certainly didn't jump out at the time, like watching it in real time. But when you go back and see the video of it, it's pretty clear that Necas's right leg makes contact with Josh's left leg. And, Josh Morrissey was clearly in some discomfort after that, because he kind of immediately starts sort of flexing and grimacing, and then he slowly makes his way back to the bench. Now, the period ended a short time later, so he didn't miss a shift because there wasn't going to be another shift. I guess the good news is he comes out with his teammates to start the second, and it sounds like that was more about testing it out, but it was okay to play one shift. But I guess the concern would be that, nothing really happened on that shift, Huss. The only contact was Andre Palat kind of lightly bumped him in the corner. But that tiny little bump, like right out of that, all of a sudden, Josh Morrissey is once again favoring his left leg or ankle or knee or whatever it is. And again, really slow to the bench. And then that was the end of his night. And so, some may say, well, did they just shut him down as a precaution? They don't want to risk it. I mean, first off, the game was still very much in up for grabs at that point. So it's not like they had they didn't have a massive lead where you're like, okay, they told him to take the rest of the night off. But sure, it is the first game of a short tournament where, at most you're going to play 6 games here in 10 days. So I suppose, it could be precautionary, but, even something fairly minor, Huss, in a short tournament like this could actually be pretty major for a player, because again, you don't have a lot of room to there's not a lot of time to recover. And so, Canada has to play right away again tomorrow. I would not expect Josh Morrissey to be in the lineup. I'd love to be wrong. I did ask Colton Parayko specifically, his blue line partner, and I don't want to read into, I guess, what he said, but I'll just repeat what he said, which is, you really hope for the best and you feel for Josh. And then Sidney Crosby talked about kind of the Four Nations heartache that Josh Morrissey experienced. Of course, he missed the gold medal game because he was sick. And now, kind of a nightmare ending on a personal level to his Four Nations. And dare I say, Huss, a nightmare start, at least, to his Olympics on a personal level. And, your heart just goes out for Josh Morrissey. And yeah, you hope this isn't anything serious. Certainly those who were opposed to NHL players coming here, and there were some, and one of the major concerns you heard voiced was somebody's going to get hurt. And, it's funny. I said in the first period, I was sitting with some media colleagues, and with how hard both teams were playing, I turned to them and I said, somebody is going to get hurt, in this tournament, and maybe multiple somebodies, because of the level of, these guys are not going through the motions. It is, you saw it, Connor McDavid steamrolled a guy on his first shift of the game. They are playing for keeps, but with that intensity comes increased risk. And, I suspect Josh Morrissey's probably not going to be the last player to leave a game with an injury in these Olympics.
Well, and Mike, I was talking to Connor and Rima at the top of the show, and listen, I think that if this tournament was last year and the Jets were the #1 team in the league, I have a feeling the team just goes, that's it. I mean, sorry, we shut him down. The fact that the Jets are out of it right now, and again, I don't know how much the NHL teams or the GMs are in contact with the Canadian hockey people and how much they're able to do, but the fact of the matter is, with the Jets where they are, I think they owe it to Josh to be able to see if he can come back. And and the bottom line is, if he comes back from the injury from the Olympics and can't play for 2 or 3 weeks, or they have to shut him down for a while,
so be it.
I mean, there's probably some benefits to that to that big picture that they probably wouldn't want to admit. But I mean, we all know what the reality of where the Jets is right now. So I felt so bad when I first heard that. We were wondering, where the heck is Josh? Knowing what happened last year, as Sidney Crosby mentioned too. And hopefully he'll be given every opportunity to come back and help this team win, because Team Canada is a better team when Josh Morrissey's in the lineup.
Agreed. And, I really liked Josh Morrissey's first period. Huss and John Cooper clearly did as well. He had played over 7 minutes in that first period. Like, he was logging heavy minutes. He's on the second pair. John Cooper clearly has a lot of faith and trust, as he should, in Josh Morrissey to do some heavy lifting, other than the Makar-Taze pairing, and we know what that duo can do. Josh Morrissey and Colton Parayko were being leaned on heavily. And if Canada's going to win this gold medal, Josh Morrissey was going to play a big role in that. And the hope, obviously, is he still can. But again, time is kind of the enemy here, Huss, because, they play again tomorrow. Then don't look now, but the whole round robin is over on Sunday. Like, it started tonight and it's over on Sunday because you just play 3 pool games. And then it's on to the medal round or the playoff round, starting with quarterfinals. So they do get a bit of a break because the quarterfinals don't start till next Wednesday. And, that's where, that's the sprint to the finish line, right? Quarterfinals Wednesday, semifinals Friday. If you're in the gold medal game, that's the Sunday. If you're in the bronze medal game, that's the Saturday. But, so tomorrow, Sunday, if Josh Morrissey can't go because they got to give it a bit of time, not the end of the world. Certainly, I would imagine for Josh Morrissey, at least on a personal level, it would feel like the end of the world if his Olympics were to come to an end. Again, especially with the backstory of his 4 nations, something that I just talked to Josh about yesterday, Huss, and he was so excited. Like, as I wrote in my piece in today's paper, he'd caught a case of Olympic fever. He was talking about how much he loved going to the speed skating event and watching the silver medal, what an inspiration that was. He was telling me about the 20 family members and friends that he's got coming here to watch him. And, again, we all know what kind of season it's been in Winnipeg. Dare I say all 4 Winnipeg Jets that I've spent some time with here over the last few days, it feels, Huss, like a fresh start, a clean slate. They feel like Nino Niederreiter, that was as light and as happy as I've seen him in a long time, talking to him the other day and then again after the game today. This is a huge deal to these guys, and obviously no one wants to miss out. Now, one door closing potentially for Josh Morrissey would mean a door opening for a Manitoban, in fact, because it was Travis Sanheim who was the lone healthy scratch on the blue line. And so I would expect at least tomorrow, Huss, to see Travis Sanheim draw in, if presuming Josh Morrissey at least gets 1 game off here. But, we'll obviously see. There won't be a morning skate tomorrow, so we may not know till game time. And I believe tomorrow's game is a later one. It was going to be Josh Morrissey versus Nino Niederreiter tomorrow night, which I believe it starts at 2 p.m. Central Time. So we may have to wait till close to game time before we get much of an update.
Mike, as far as the game went, hard to imagine it going much better for Canada. I had plenty of concerns about Binnington, where he was at heading into this tournament. I thought he made a huge statement with the way he played and how composed he was as well. Even when he got run over by Fax at the end of the game, none of the usual Binnington BS. He was locked in, and the entire team seemed locked in. The hit by Hellebuck on the first play of the hit by McDavid on the first shift of the game. The scary Canadian power play. The new guys, making an impact. Yeah. Horvat and Suzuki, and of course Macklin Celebrini, and then big time performances by some of the older players in Crosby and Mark Stone and Drew Doughty. Pretty much a dream start for a team that seemed to be on a mission to win that gold medal right out of the gate.
And make no mistake, Huss, for those who might want to say, oh, but it's just Czechia. This is a good team that they beat today. This was not, it would have been an absolute epic upset, obviously, if Canada lost, but this is a pretty good team that has a lot of NHL players on it. Just ask Finland, about that, who just lost last night to Slovakia. And I watched that game, Huss. This was a lot more competitive. Like, Finland actually seriously outplayed Slovakia. They just they got goalied in a lot of ways, but and didn't maybe get the goaltending they needed. But yeah, this was and to be honest, Huss, for the first 15 minutes of this game tonight, it was pretty even. And it sure feels like that goal by Macklin Celebrini, like with 5 seconds left, beautiful tip off a really smart shot by Cale Makar, getting that first goal, and to have it be the youngest player on the team, that next wave, the next big star, that just really seemed to light a fire under Canada. And, they came out, really took over in the second and even more so in the third. And talking to John Cooper after the game, like, that's what he loved the most, that his team did not take the foot off the gas. Like, they got better, and they got scoring from three of their 4 lines. A beautiful power play goal that, my goodness, Huss, like, it's the stuff of fantasy hockey when you see Crosby to McDavid to McKinnon. Like, it's almost not fair. And yeah, I mean, Jordan Binnington, like, to me, Huss, this was his test. This was his big test tonight. And, I think Canada probably had in its back pocket, like, if he faltered in any way, like, even if they won the game, but he kind of struggled, I think that was probably going to be it for Jordan Binnington. Now, he's definitely getting another game, and that'll be Sunday against France, I imagine, because I don't think they ride him back to back. So I imagine Logan Thompson gets tomorrow. But because of what Binnington did tonight, he surely gets now Sunday. And I don't imagine France is going to give him any issues. So presuming he comes out of that without, France might be lucky to get a dozen shots on goal. And then you're on to the elimination games. And so Jordan Binnington now, by virtue of what he did tonight, he's probably your guy. And again, if he had stumbled a bit tonight, then what I suspect happens is Logan Thompson gets the start tomorrow, as he was going to. And assuming that he's pretty good, he probably is the guy that they ride for the rest of the tournament. Well, now, after Binnington pitches a shutout, 26-save shutout, he's probably your guy that you're going to take into those elimination games. And, that's an interesting scenario that I'm not sure anybody necessarily counted on here.
Looking forward to the game tomorrow. You mentioned you spoke with Nino Niederreiter. They had a nice start, a 4-0 win in their first game. I mean, they'll be a big underdog to Canada tomorrow. And now in about 20-odd minutes, the puck will drop on heavily favored Team USA, who are the biggest favorite of any of the teams in the group just because of their opponents.
Yeah.
What do you make of the opportunity for Kyle Connor maybe to come back from the bad taste of how the Four Nations ended, and the pressure on Connor Hellebuck, who gets the opening day start for Team USA, but maybe in a bit of a different situation than he was in last year for the Four Nations?
For sure. And, let's start with Kyle Connor. Like, he's in a really good spot to start. He's playing with a couple of really good players in Dylan Larkin and Tage Thompson. And maybe most impressive, Huss, because I would have said this is not a lock at all coming into this tournament. He's on one of the power play units. He's on the second power play unit. So clearly, and I talked to Mike Sullivan a couple days ago about, that healthy scratch in the Four Nations. And Mike Sullivan said Kyle Connor did and said and took all the right things away from that. I also talked to Kyle about that. But clearly, they are willing to give him a big opportunity here. And yeah, I mean, we know what kind of shot Kyle Connor has. I'd like to see him be really aggressive, and have a shooter mentality. Sometimes, when with the Scheifele line and when he's playing with the Jets, I find that Kyle, he's got that great shot, but too often it's like he's looking to defer. I'd like to see him be the shooter. Now, he's with two other guys that I think both of them actually have more goals than he does this year. I think Logan Thompson has 30. Tage Thompson. Logan Thompson's the Canadian goalie, Mike. But I think Tage has 30 and Larkin has 26. Kaz got 25. There's a lot of offense on that line, Huss. And, that's a great start for Kyle Connor. Let's see if he can take advantage of it. And I got the sense talking to him the other night, there's a little extra fuel in the engine over what happened. I mean, it's the same coaching staff. It's essentially the same team. So he does not want history to repeat itself. And I think we're going to see the best version of Kyle Connor. As for Connor Hellebuck, this was not a lock that he was going to get the game one call. And, I think it's maybe not unlike the Jordan Binnington decision, although Hellebuck isn't having the disaster of a season that Binnington is for the Blues. But, I think there's some deference to what he's done for this group. So he gets the call, and it's interesting, Mike Sullivan this morning was talking about, he was asked if we're going to see like a rotation or if he could possibly just ride one goalie for this whole event. And, while he didn't say, yes, I'm going to do that, he didn't say no. And he talked a lot about performance and how that's going to dictate decisions. Well, what that tells me, and again, the U.S. has a fairly easy pool that they're in. Could we see Connor Hellebuck, as long as he plays well, run the table here? And I don't know how much he's going to get challenged. Like, what's the over-under tonight, Huss, on shots by the Latvians? 12? 13? Like, I don't think he's going to face a ton of action tonight. So he just has to be ready for when he's probably going to occasionally get some work. But I suspect the puck is going to be in the other team's end of the rink a lot. And not just tonight, but for these first three pool games.
Mike, as we mentioned, Germany, Denmark coming up at 2:10 our time, Latvia and the U.S. Where's the other rink? Like the two games are playing at the same point.
Yeah, so it's, if I had a car, it's not crazy far away, but by public transportation, which we're getting around by here, it's about an hour trip from here. And I've been at that rink a lot. That's where the Canadian women played their first two games. There's also the speed skating venue there that I've covered a few events. I've spent a lot of time on subways and buses and trains. And so most of the action now, Huss, is switching to the rink behind me. This is where even the women's, playoff games are going to be here. But yeah, there will be some men's games over there. I guess maybe the not so high profile games, because it's a much smaller venue. And so I'm sure they strategically probably put teams that maybe won't have as big of a fan base here in Milan. Like Switzerland, for example, it would be ridiculous to not play them at the rink behind me, the big rink, because there are like 1 million Swiss fans here. Switzerland is, Nino Niederreiter told me this rink where we're standing is like a 2.5-hour drive from his home in Switzerland. This is like a home game for them. And there's a lot of that atmosphere today for the Swiss game was just bonkers. It was like watching, like a European soccer match with the chants and the cheering. So, yeah, there will be some games going on, like you said, Germany, Denmark, which is actually kind of a fun game. You got Nick Ehlers versus Leon Draisaitl, but can't be two places at once. And that's the big story or one of the big stories of these Olympics, Huss. These are the most spread out Olympics ever. And so like where I'm standing, in some ways, thank goodness Manitoba didn't qualify curlers that I would have wanted to cover up close, because Cortina, which is where the curling is happening, is like 5 hours from here. Like it's like Winnipeg to Regina. And so you're talking like a 10-hour round trip. I mean, you can't just go there for a day. And so, yeah, these are very spread out Olympics. And there's 4 of those clusters where essentially fans have had to choose, like, okay, what events do I want to watch? And then basically stay put. And even media that have multiple reporters here, like Canadian Press, Associated Press, they have people stationed in each cluster who aren't moving at all. So fortunately for me, the main focus obviously is hockey, and it's all happening here, albeit at a secondary rink as well, which does involve a bit of travel, but most of that is now in the rearview mirror.
Well, listen, I mean, I know you've been busy churning out a ton of great content for readers over at the Winnipeg Free Press. Just before we go, Mike, give me, I mean, obviously it's a lot of work right now, and I'm sure one of the highlights was just getting a chance to be in the building and see that Canadian team play today. But how's the experience been so far, and what have been some of the highlights that we'd be interested in?
So I'd love to sit here and tell you that this has been just like nothing but relaxing and sightseeing and eating all the pasta. And I'm not lying. I've been here now. This is my 9th night. I have had one sit down meal, and it is not. And then tonight will be the same. I'll still be writing here at 1 a.m. I've had nights where I'm writing closer to 2 a.m.
How's the media catering been? How's the Olympic spread?
It's not. There is no. They don't feed us. They're not feeding us here. Are you kidding? There's no food for. Like a couple nights, my dinner has been an apple from my hotel lobby and some bread and peanut butter that I bought at a local market. I did have one great meal last night because I didn't stick around for the non-Canadian, non-US, I knew last night was my one chance here, my one window to kind of not cover an event in the evening, because there's going to be hockey games now steady for the next like week or plus. So, I'm going to be, this game starts at 9:10 here tonight. By the time we do interviews, and then it's still 45 minutes of travel back to my hotel after this. I won't even get to my hotel till close to 1. Then I got to do a lot of writing. The time change, it's nice because it's 7 hours behind. So I don't feel rushed because I can still write and easily make deadlines for the print edition. But my goodness, you're kind of burning the candle at both ends, Huss, because, I've started a lot of days where I'm out of my hotel at 9 or 9:30 and I don't get back till like 1. It's a good thing, though, because these hotel rooms are borderline prison cells. They are snug, to say the least. So I have not spent a lot of time in the hotel, but I'm having a blast. Like, this is a dream assignment, just to be around like the people, the atmosphere, just the joy that all these athletes in all these sports competing at the highest level. It's just been awesome. And I just love the energy. Milan is a beautiful city. I have been able to do a tiny bit of sightseeing, which mostly involves getting off at a stop on my way from one venue to another, walking around for 10 or 15, and then getting back on the subway. But it's a beautiful city. Volunteers have been great, very friendly people. A lot of Canadians here too, which has been nice. So having a blast. Time is flying because I'm having fun.
Well, listen, I mean, again, full credit to the Winnipeg Free Press for, finding the budget to have you boots on the ground there with all of this great coverage. Fill people in on what's coming up in tomorrow's edition of the Free Press.
So it'll be a very hockey-heavy edition. I've been, dabbling in a lot of other sports, finding way more Manitoba connections. There's not a lot of Manitoba athletes here, but I managed to find, the Swiss head coach was an exchange student in Winnipeg. There's a Swiss speed skater I've done a couple stories on whose whole family is from Manitoba. The ice maker at the curling venue is from Oakbank. I interviewed Jennifer Jones, who's broadcasting curling, of course. I interviewed and thanks to Remis for this great tip, actually, the head of the Israeli bobsled and skeleton federation, who's a Winnipegger, and
Dave
the Israeli
Graves.
bobsled team. Yes, it was a great chat with him. So I had a personal goal coming here, Huss. I'm going to be here. I'm on the ground for 19 days. My goal was to write and file 50 stories. So I'm at 18. I've got 3 more coming today. So I'll be at 21. And I think tomorrow marks the halfway. So I'm pretty much right on pace for 50 unique stories. I've got some fun stuff planned for a weekend feature that I'm working on. So yeah, it's been dizzying, but very rewarding, very fulfilling, and definitely working hard.
Well, listen, let me throw one other idea out at you. This may have already been on your list, but I couldn't help but notice our old pal Pav on the bench today for the Czech team.
It is on the
See what's up with him,
Pavlictricity.
and let us know whether there'll be Pavlictricity for the alumni game when we have that coming up.
The other one, Huss, that I can't get enough of this story. You know, when Seth Jarvis landed here on Sunday, and I talked to him, and I immediately, my first question to him was about his buddies, and you know, he said, "Yeah, I hope they find a way," and that obviously set in motion a chain of events. When I did the update story yesterday, Seth's buddies are on the way. They get here on Sunday, and you can be damn sure, Huss, I am going to spend some time with Seth's buddies on the ground here in Milan. I'll have a full, that'll come probably early next week. But these guys are the life of the party. They've kind of become overnight celebrities. They, you know, it's a great story about buddies supporting a buddy, and, you know, through thick and thin and all that. People are kind of living vicarious. So I will be catching up with Seth's buddies when they take Italy by storm starting this weekend.
Those dudes need to fire up an Instagram account for some great content from there.
Agreed.
And, well, you'll remember I somehow ended up at the same bar as Team Canada in Boston afterwards, and they were coming down, and I see the guy with no teeth, and I'm like, oh my God. So I ended up having a beer and meeting with those guys there, and they were as advertised, good Winnipeg dudes that were just over the moon to be there in and around it. So hopefully they'll be there to see something. And I would imagine in these next couple games, we'll both see Littlemore Bennett and Jarvis at some point, and then maybe not in the playoff round, depending on how healthy everybody is. Well, listen, from Italy to Mexico we go. Cabo Kenny is about ready to come in. So, Mike, enjoy the USA game tonight. We'll look forward to more of your great coverage in the Winnipeg Free Press.
Tell Kenny not to forget his sunscreen. He's looking a little ripe.
I certainly will. Thanks so much, Mike. There's Mike McIntyre from the Winnipeg Free Press, live from Italy, outside the rink right after Canada's big 5-0 win. And, of course, Ken coming up with us to talk about it. Of course, we've been hitting all the lines throughout the event. Tomorrow in the program, we'll have the latest up-to-date lines for Team Canada, although we might not have updates based on the status of Josh Morrissey and if there's any moves. But all the lines brought to you by great sponsors at Clean Line Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, your go-to spot for full-service plumbing, heating, and electrical for both for over 40 years, locally owned, and much like Adam Lowry's you see there in the graphic has the back of the Winnipeg Jets, they've got yours, folks. 24/7 emergency service. Remember the number, 204-500-2001. Clean Line will be there for you morning, noon, and night when you need it. And, of course, for residential and commercial plumbing, heating, and electrical projects, lean on the best in the biz for 40 years locally at cleanline.ca. Have to thank our friends at Princess Auto for their support of Winnipeg Sports Talk. Mark Stone, a Winnipegger, scored today for Canada. Of course, Princess Auto synonymous with Winnipeg, headquartered and founded right here in the Peg, and now serving Canadians coast to coast. 3 locations in Manitoba, Panet Road, Portage Avenue West, and Brandon, where you'll find the best deals on the most unique assortment of tools and equipment around. Everything you need to complete the projects on your list or start something new waiting for you at Princess Auto. Pop by and see them today or shop online 24/7, 365 at princessauto.com. We will have a very special Chuds Power Sports Power Poll coming up about today's Canada game. We'll do that after Ken joins us. But don't forget, gang, if you want to make the most of winter or get ready for the summer of a lifetime, Chuds Power Sports in Gimli is the only place you need to go. They are the power sports superstore in Manitoba for over 80 years. Right now, incredible deals on Polaris and Arctic Cat sleds. Big-time sales events for both of those as you want to dominate the winter. But there's so much more. ATVs, tractors, bikes, snow cycles even, and incredible deals at their e-commerce store, truenorthparts.ca. If you go to their website at chudspowersports.com, top right corner, click that link. Amazing clearance deals on clearance gear and accessories for both the winter and the summer, and just around the corner, bikes, boats, RVs, and more. Chuds has it all with the best and most experienced staff in the province waiting for you to help you out. Go to chudspowersports.com or visit them up in Gimli at the corner of Highway 8 and 231. No battery questions for Team Canada today. They were fully charged and ready to go right out of the gate, as evidenced by that Connor McDavid hit. But if you need a new charge or a new battery, shop local and get the best prices in town with the best customer service at Manitoba Battery. Like Donnie says, stop wasting time and money at the big box stores when you can support local, save money, and get the best in customer service for batteries for literally everything from your car or truck to your sled, your boat. Manitoba Battery does it all with 2 locations to serve you, Logan Avenue and Dovercourt Drive. And of course, you can also order online at manitobabattery.com. And Manitoba Battery will deliver anywhere inside the perimeter. For all your battery needs, keep it local. Manitoba Battery, and online at manitobabattery.com. All right, let's bring Wiebe in here. Cabo Kenny himself. You know, this might be the best back-to-back backgrounds we've ever had on WST. Mike flashing up the background of the rink, popping out to give us a taste of that. And now Ken with a beautiful Mexican paradise behind us as he joins us. I think Ken's working with some headphones right now and seems to be having somewhat of an issue. Although he's laughing, I think he can't hear me at the same time. I'm not sure if there's a microphone that's ready to go. That's the key. That is the key. So while his partner Sean is on location in Italy, Ken is on location in Mexico, and I believe joins us now. Wiebe, can you hear us? Is your mic working? What's going on? Now we need to select a mic. No, we are having an issue with the sound right now. Remis, any thoughts on this? Oh,
check 1 2 1 2.
There we go.
Sorry, yes.
Cabo Kenny in full effect.
Puerto Vallarta.
Sorry, Puerto Vallarta. Cabo Kenny just sounded so much better.
It does.
How's the trip?
Good to be with you. Oh, Huss, great to be with you. It's I've been keeping the sunscreen on, but a little bit of sweat here. It's a little toasty, and it is happy hour. So, we're just doing our best here.
Nicely done.
Happy hour hasn't started yet.
Well, it's happy hour somewhere, so you got the full green light in my book. Is it the same? Are you Pacific time, or are you same time zone as Winnipeg?
Central time, Huss.
Oh,
yep, Central
perfect.
time here. Yeah, fortunately. I think Cancun might be a 1 hour difference, but we're keeping it in the Central time zone. We're able to watch about a period and a half of the game, so we do have some inkling of what was going on, but don't have any other insight other
How do
than
you
Mike
get the
about
game?
The Morrissey play. There was some streaming happening, Huss, but it was a little bit sporadic with the internet connection.
Winter Olympics not quite as big in Mexico as they are in Canada and some of the other areas. They
had a full screen, Huss, for the Super Bowl downstairs, but they did not have the hockey game going. But we could find an NBC feed through USA Network here. So, but yeah, we're doing our best.
Nice. Well,
this microphone is bothering me, Huss.
The US game. Well, you're sounding fine. People can hear you, okay. So I guess that is the key. Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll get to the game and whatnot, but you mentioned Josh Morrissey. I mean, no one's got much more information. John Cooper, when he spoke, hadn't even talked to the doctors or Josh, but I mean, just such a sad and unfortunate start for him after, listen, being part of a season here in Winnipeg that's been a great disappointment. Mike had said from talking to those guys, sort of freeing, like a fresh start for all of the Jets that have the honor of being in the Olympic Games, and then for Josh to play a period and then leave. This poor guy, he's a workhorse for the Jets night in, night out, and the second he puts on the Canada jersey, bad things seem to happen.
Yeah, it's wild, Huss. I know I saw Mike Russo's tweet, and between Mike, this is such a worldwide event here. We got I'm texting with Friedman. Mike is checking on the computer with Russo, trying to get the timestamp of when these things are happening. I think eventually they found it in the CBC/TSN truck. So it's I'm not taking any credit, Huss. I'm just trying to explain how, we're in a bunch of different locations, but everyone has the same goal of trying to get to the bottom of what's happening. But it was tough to tell between the Andre Palat hit and getting kind of tied up with Natchez. Tough to tell if it was it sounds lower body-ish, but we're not sure exactly what the nature is or what the severity is. With Canada playing back-to-back, you probably expect Josh to maybe take tomorrow off, but maybe it was just precaution. So, Huss, one thing we do know, they're going to be treating this like the Stanley Cup final when it comes to revealing information. We've already had a closed practice at the Olympics, so but like you said, just unfortunate for Josh, and hopefully it's nothing serious. I mean, this guy, like you said, he's a workhorse, and he was so pumped about this opportunity after not being able to appear in the gold medal game with that nasty flu virus. I mean, this was a great opportunity for him. Looked like he and Parayko got off to a great start in the shutdown role. And then just an unfortunate injury at the start of the second.
Let me ask you this,
maybe it was from the first, I guess. It's tough to tell.
Let me ask you this because of how this will be handled. And I sort of speculated that, like, if this tournament was a year ago and the Jets were first overall in the NHL and this happened to Josh right off the bat, like, I don't know what the contact is between the NHL teams and Hockey Canada is, but I can't imagine the Jets would have been very keen on him doing whatever he could to get back in the lineup. Maybe there is a blessing in disguise personally for Josh in that, with the situation the hockey team is in right now, clearly out of the playoffs and unlikely to be there, that he'd be given every opportunity to try to get back into the tournament and play. And let's face it, if Josh can't play for a few weeks when the team comes back to work, based on the situation they're in, draft pick, all that stuff, maybe not the end of the world to let some other guys get in and play and get some experience for a guy that's normally the workhorse on the back end. Like, I'd make an argument that outside of Hellebuck, I don't think there's a more important player night in and night out for the Winnipeg Jets. And that could almost be a blessing in disguise, big picture for the team going down the stretch. But I really think he might be given a little bit more rope to get back into the tournament that might not have been there if this had been 12 months ago and the team was in a different situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair question. And again, I think that once you jump on that plane and throw the jersey on, I think it's kind of almost player driven now or NHLPA driven. I mean, it's hard to, I'm not saying the Jets would not have no impact on the decision-making process. Of course they do. They're paying his salary. But yeah, I mean, let's hope it's not the severity of that nature that they have to find out. But yeah, I mean, it certainly would be something that, yeah, I mean, it would be unfortunate if there was an injury there that would require, an extended period of time for rest for Josh. But again, let's let it play out here. I mean, we want to be, cognizant of what's going on, and it's early in the tournament. And again, I would say that not surprising that John didn't want to let anything out of the bag or whatever else. But again, let's sort of see how things go, and then we'll sort of go from there. But
the other thing, Ken, is there's a hell of a lot of competition to get in that lineup and stay in that lineup. I mean, you got some other Olympians that either aren't dressing or are seventh defensemen that are looking forward to take that spot. And, everyone wants to be as much of a part of this team as they possibly can. I mean, as far as the game, and I know you didn't get a chance to see the entire game, but, man, I mean, a stellar performance from Binnington. I've sort of owned it. And listen, I think it was justified being a little skeptical after how poorly he played this year to be the starter. But man, it's like you put that red and white jersey on the guy and he just turned into the guy we saw in overtime. He was composed. He was solid. He was perfect. And the leaders on this team, so driven. I mean, Connor McDavid, that big hit on the first shift. I actually thought it was Tom Wilson. And then I realized that, oh my God, that was McDavid.
Check the license plate number on that one, Huss. Check the license plate.
McKinnon, Crosby, but I mean, everyone got into this. The new guys, Celebrini, Horvat, Suzuki, all scoring, and the old guys. I mean, Mark Stone, Sidney Crosby, Drew Doughty. This team really did put a performance out in game number one that they are fully ready and on a mission to keep that gold medal north of the border.
Yeah, no doubt, Huston. I think one of the shifts or the exchanges that caught my attention was, Thomas Harley cross-checking Radek Faksa after falling on Binnington. I mean, these guys are Dallas Stars teammates, but, you can't do that. And
Binnington at the time being like, "Don't worry about it," which is
he was the calm one. Yes.
Yeah. Like what?
What's
going on?
Sure sign of the apocalypse. Binnington saying, "Just calm down. It's under control." But Huss, I mean, you talked about it. I mean, that saucer pass from Mitch Marner to Mark Stone, just absolutely exceptional and elite. I love the play. Marchand taking a hit. There was so much talk going into the game about what would Canada's identity be, and I thought that the Bo Horvat goal is a great example. You get Brad Marchand taking a hit to make a play, but also leading the player, and Horvat just blows by the Czechia defender and scores. I mean, you got the power play just so elite. Huss, I sent a couple texts and a couple of the group chats that I'm in. I mean, was that Lemieux to Gretzky to Howard Chuck? Like, that was when you have a play that reads McKinnon from McDavid and Crosby. Like this is literally in the hot tub time machine back to the Canada Cup. Like, this is Howard Chuck, Lemieux, Gretzky kind of combining for one of the great three of the great skilled players combining to score a big goal. The passing was exceptional. The Suzuki goal, I mean, I think it is a tip in. I mean, it was pretty enough that it fooled Dostal. Redirection, nice play. I mean, Harley involved, McDavid, just an exceptional game. And, as Mark Stone pointed out during the intermission, I mean, this is something where, like, I don't think we saw, the scary part is I don't think we saw Canada's best, because these guys were so jazzed to be out on the ice together at the Olympics for the first time since 2014 as NHLers, that I do think there was a little bit of a, feeling out period, if you will. But then when they started to go and clicking on all cylinders, I mean, I thought it was pretty evident that Canada was highly skilled and, sort of a cut above what was happening. Czechia played them hard, no doubt. But, it was tough to match physically. Yes, McDavid, great hit, but Wilson had a couple big hits as well. The depth is just so ridiculous. I mean, Seth Jarvis wasn't in, but I think he's going to be in sooner than later with the back-to-back scenario. Husson, it looked like you were leading in with his buddies getting on the plane. I mean, what a story of Canadiana. When one of the national airlines says, "Hey, looks like your friends could use a hand. Get in touch with us." And the next comment is, "Start packing, fellas." Like, it doesn't get more Canadian than that, does it? I mean.
Well, I mean, listen, those guys, they did the hard work by jumping in the van and driving the 30 hours to Boston. And,
exactly.
You pull off something like that.
Boys could use a break.
No, 100%. And that'll be fun to see, and hopefully we'll see it's the Seth. I thought Mark Stone, speaking of Winnipeg guys, was awesome today. And that line.
No surprise, Huss.
It's sort of that's going to be our shutdown line. I mean, when they're going up against those top teams, expect Crosby, Stone, and Marner. And listen, Marner and Stone probably. I think Stone is the best stick in the NHL. Marner might be too. I mean, the turnovers that they'll be able to take. Yeah. You got Sid at the 200-foot game he has. I mean, listen, this team is scary. I am seeing that the States have already scored one. They'll probably light up Latvia. It's a pretty soft group that they're in right now, but we'll see how things go for the States. But, I mean, what a start to this tournament. And I don't know if you probably didn't get to catch the Slovaks upset over Finland yesterday, but I mean, I thought, Ken, that was a bit of a cautionary wake-up call for all these other big-time teams before they even play, that if you don't come with your best in this tournament, you might not win.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the other part. I mean, there's always going to be, some goalie that stands on his noggin and makes a bunch of saves, and like we've often seen at the World Junior with Latvia and teams like that. So it was the Iowa Wild goalie going wild right in the game. So, yeah, I mean, you love to see that. It's part of the fun of the event. I mean, unless you're from one of those countries where Tommy Salo lets in a clapper from the red line, I mean, you're not loving life then. But we talked about it, Huss, last week going into the games with the Florida Panthers. I mean, like, this is just another reinforcement of just how great Alexander Barkov is. I think that people just don't realize that, when you take a guy like that out of the Panthers lineup, when you take him out of the Finland lineup, it's just a little bit of a different scenario. But again, it's one game. We'll see what happens moving forward. I don't think it means Finland is done, but their task certainly got a lot tougher from that experience. I mean, the Swiss folks get off to a good start with Nino Niederreiter, Connor Hellebuyck in the pipes, and Huss, I'm sure most folks read it, but I just have a little bit of secondary insight on my good friend and colleague Mike McIntyre's piece on Patrick Fisher. As someone who grew up in the Pembina Valley region, I was already playing AAA for the Hawks when Patrick was lighting it up for the Carman Cougars in the Zone 4 Manitoba High School Hockey League. But I got to know Patrick a little bit through some mutual friends from Carman. Bo Leslie and Kevin Jeanson was a guy that I knew really well down there. Patrick was just people read the story. Barb Leslie was talking about it. This guy is just an incredibly gregarious guy. Got in some of the same social circles, an incredible hockey player. And, here all these years later, he's the guy leading the Swiss team at the Olympics after a great pro career that included a little bit of time with the Phoenix Coyotes. So pretty small world. And, Patrick and I are both 50 years, same age and everything else. It's just kind of cool to see someone that was in your orbit end up at the Olympic Games in such an interesting scenario. And talked with Nino Niederreiter a little bit before he left, and he had a good chuckle. And it's just cool to see the Olympics is filled with cool stories, Huss, and that's just one of them that resonates with folks in the Pembina Valley region, because that's where I grew up, I guess. So.
Well, listen, there's Manitoba. We don't have as many Manitoba athletes outside of the obviously the two hockey teams that we've had in the past. But, as Mike mentioned, and you just need to read the Freep. There's Manitoba fingerprints all over every aspect of these Olympic Games, and it's fun. Quick thought on the women's hockey. MPP gets hurt, doesn't play the last couple of games. It was a nice win today for the women to get the offense going against a pretty good Finnish team. But it more so, Ken, than I think at any point that I can remember in the last 20, 25 years of women's hockey, where the Canada and the U.S. have been really, really close. It seems like the U.S. is a pretty imposing favorite over the Canadians, but we can never count the Canadian women out when it's all on the line.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Huss. I'm not saying that it's no big deal that they got absolutely steamrolled in that game by any stretch of the imagination, but there have been times in the past where the round-robin games haven't really and both ways, Huss. There have been years where Manitoba or Canada blows them out and then has trouble in the gold medal game, not necessarily at the Olympics. But the beauty of the Olympics are, in a one-shot deal, you never know what can happen. And, sounds like, Troy Ryan saying that Poulin was on the ice, so that's obviously a good sign. If she can get out there, that's obviously a massive deal for them. We know that they're going to probably have some strategic changes for the next game, trying to contain the speed of people like Abby Murphy and some of those other superstars. And, it's just really cool. And then we talk about the Manitoba test. You got Jocelyn The Rock, great veteran, doing a great, over 20 minutes in the first game on the back end. You got Katie Tabin in her first Olympics. And then too, Huss, fortunate enough to speak with Katie at the orientation camp in Calgary this past summer, and relaying the story about how she quit hockey twice, right up, once after college and once later on, and then had this opportunity to go back with the pro women, and just the way that she's grown into a shutdown defender is just so impressive to see her get that opportunity to skate on that Olympic stage. And it's great to see. And like you said, they're going to have to find a way to impede some of that incredible speed and skill that the USA is playing with, because right now they look like a juggernaut that's going to be very difficult to stop. But in a one game, if they can continue like they did today, one game showdown, whether it's great goaltending or special teams, or a goal from somewhere in the lineup, maybe an unexpected goal, or maybe something from a superstar, I think Canada will take its chances as long as they get back there. But yeah, they definitely got their work cut out. They got to basically, plus it's very simple. You got to play a perfect game if you want to beat the States. That's basically what they're looking at.
Well, quick note on the States in the men's hockey. It's kind of, I was turning my head there. Latvia just tied it up. Big goalmouth scramble. One got past Hellebuck. But right before that, a brutal headshot to Austin Matthews. Got him off. I would assume, and I'm not sure whether it's the same rules in the NHL. If that happens in the NHL, he's going to the quiet room and getting checked out. Obviously, that was missed by the officials, or that goal would not have counted, or there would have been a whistle before that. But an interesting development early on in this game. What do we got? We're just approaching the midway point of the first period. It's 1-1, but we'll have to keep an eye on the Austin Matthews situation. but Latvia has tied it up.
It feels odd to not have Herb Vasiliev in the lineup this year. The former Moose legend. But there is a Moose legend in there. Harold Egel is playing, I believe.
Yeah, there's I think 5 former Moose that are in the event right now. I guess Kyle Connor would technically be one of them. I know Dan Fink did put that out. The Moose are back. They're finishing up the AHL All-Star festivities this week, and then the Moose are back on Saturday and Monday, 2 p.m. games. We'll get to some of that tomorrow in the program, hopefully, for a very special guest on the show. Heads up, T. Konopali.
Oh, there you go. And also has brother of the Wizard, Nick Batan's brother on Team Italy, I think. So
I did notice that. I'm like, Alex Batan, that looks interesting. And we looked him up, and then he's like an identical twin to him. So, yeah, I think he went over there and just played. And it was cool that the Italians just went with actual Italian players or guys that had been there, the entire time. Hell, that Italian, you probably didn't see this, but that Italian goalie yesterday, yeah, there it is. Morrissey, Hellebuck, Connor, and then Leon Gavanka, who will be in this German matchup that's going on right now against the Danes, and then Egli, as you mentioned, yes, for Team Latvia. But there's so much going on right now, Ken, with this Olympic tourney that you can't get it up. But I was saying about the Italian goalie who had made 49 saves by the time he'd gotten out. Like at one point he was 2-2 in the second period, and the shots were 31-4 for Sweden. This kid, we looked him up today, Nielsen and I doing the lock shop. He's actually the first legitimate Italian prospect in NHL history who's a second-round pick of the Ducks. Played a couple games last year in San Diego, playing in Europe right now. I joked to him that, the Oilers should be on the phone right now based on what he did yesterday. They might be able to make that happen. How's the trip been so far? What, are you just basically margarita in hand at the pool 24/7, or you must be getting a few rounds in?
The Higuera Golf and Country Club is next door, Huss, but no rounds yet. Don't know that we're going to sneak any in, but 3 more days. We're heading down to closer to Puerto Vallarta for the last 3 nights, but getting a nice hour-long beach walk in every day here. So
look at this.
It's pretty solid. Certainly, sorry about that. Just trying to get the full experience in, Huss. But yeah, no, it's been fun. Been relaxing. This is for Kenny Sr.'s 76th birthday. He celebrated last month, so we had a good chunk of the family down here, up to 15 people.
Beautiful.
From BC have headed home. They headed home yesterday, but still got a 10 spot here. So it's been good. Lots of fun, lots of laughs, and lots of good times. Created some good memories here, Huss. But also keeping our eyes on things. Not thrilled with what we saw to the first couple days of training camp or spring training or pitchers and catchers out in Dunedin. There, hearing about the Anthony Santander news, and
it was shut down for
Shane
4 to
Bieber
5 months.
kind of Bieber slow playing, but again these are normal spring. Wake me when it's spring training. I mean, this is pitchers and catchers, and 162. It's a long season. Should be a lot of fun for baseball fans. And yeah, we caught the Super Bowl here. It sort of went the way I expected. As you know, I have some allegiance to the folks who are on the losing end.
They got massacred.
They did. Yes, that was not. Unless you like punting, there was not much shaking in that game. But that O-line, I knew they would be under duress, and man, what an effort by the Seahawks. And us, as you know, enjoy watching the Vikings. So I mean, Sam Darnold, this isn't about, folks are saying, oh, terrible passer rating, blah blah blah. Us, all Sam Darnold needed to do was not turn over the ball, and he had a couple of very close calls. I get it, but Sam Darnold did what Sam Darnold was asked to do, and that was take care of business, take care of the football, and the defense took care of the rest. And what an incredible game for Kenneth Walker. I mean, with Charbonneau out, I mean, that was all-purpose, all-world running back work. And then Mr. Myers took care of the rest on the field goal front. But
they didn't need to. Listen, for Sam Darnold, he outdueled the MVP in the 2 biggest games of the season. He beat them 38-37, a 2-point convert in overtime in a game that got them the 1 seed and home field advantage.
Yep.
And then outdueled him again in the NFC Championship game, which ended up basically being the Super Bowl. And anyone that wants to Trent Dilfer this guy is completely out to lunch. It's one of the great redemption stories in sports in a long, long time, certainly in North American professional sports. And, listen, I mean, it's not to pile on, but I got a lot of Bills fans and Viking fans, and the Bills are sitting there looking at the Patriots represent them in the AFC after getting
I got news for them. Maybe win your own games. How about that? Maybe win your own games.
And then obviously on the Viking side, what might have been different this year if Sam had got another chance to come back. And the crazy thing about Seattle, I mean, Geno Smith.
Yeah.
They moved off of Geno. Tough for Geno. A team gets rid of you, they win the Super Bowl. The team that gets you finishes dead last and gets the number 1 pick. But I mean, like at the what quarterbacks are making right now, Sam Darnold is like the best deal in the league. 33 mil. That's half of what some far less accomplished guys are getting. So anyways, a good wrap on that.
This is one of the reasons Kawesi is fired. I mean, that's one of the reasons the Vikings gassed their general manager.
And their draft hasn't been very good.
They can call it whatever they want. I mean, but that was a mistake.
Hey, last question for you, just back to the Jets. I know things are quiet right now, but when we get back to work with the club, there's going to be 5 more games. Just thoughts on those final 5 games, and Ken, when the dust settles at the deadline, considering where they are, how things ended, how many new faces will be in, or maybe more specifically, how many familiar faces will be gone?
Yeah, Huss, I mean, we talked about this a lot, and I do think that it's probably was best for, we know the players were going on vacation, and I'm guessing that we know that Scott O'Neill had homework assignments for himself and his coaching staff, but I'm thinking people would let the dust settle for a couple days, and by the time the Jets get back to work on the 17th, maybe some of those extension talks or at least checking on parameters, that stuff's going to be ramping up. But I mean, you have to think, yes, there's 10 points available before the deadline passes. I do think that, as we've been discussing, the bulk, the majority of the UFAs that aren't going to be signed are probably going to be on the move in trades for draft capital, and maybe more NHL ready prospects or guys who need a change of scenery or things like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just going to go out there and say if I'm going to guess, it's going to be a close to a quarter of the roster could look different come March 8th. Thus, I mean, you'd have to think that at least 4 or 5 guys are going to be on the move. So I guess that's under a quarter technically, but there's a chance that if there's a bigger move or involved, there's also guys could be maneuvered from, whether it's from Moose or within the organization, that could be on the move also. So I do think it's somewhere around that, 5. I'm going to conservatively say 5 players are probably going to be on their way out, and then we'll see what that means for the current roster. How many of those players will be replaced by draft picks versus call-ups and things of that nature. But it feels like the winds of change will be blowing through town, barring something out of the ordinary coming together here, Huss. But I mean, it's not to say, as we've said from the beginning, the Jets aren't going to give up on the season, but they're definitely have to be preparing for a time of change and for, finding out what they have in the organization. We got to look at Danny Zhilkin. I would imagine that he's got a good chance to spend a lot of time as a, 4th line center during the break or during the post-break time, just to see where he fits in. I mean, we've seen Parker Ford earlier. Maybe we see Nikita Chibrikov. Brad Lambert, is he here? Is he involved in one of the packages? I mean, we could also see Dom DiVincentis or Thomas Milich, depending on what happens, with Eric Comrie and his situation. Maybe he gets extended also. That would be obviously an opportunity for them also. But I mean, it'll be an interesting time. We know Elias Solomonson, you and I feel the same way about this. We have for a long time. For me, Solomonson needs, 35 plus games on his resume by the time the season is over. What is he at now? 11 or 12. So that means he needs to get into the bulk of the games coming out of the break. And, with guys like Hayden Fleury and Colin Miller getting healthy, that means they're going to have to move out at least one and probably two of those veteran guys who are on expiring contracts. And it's possible, maybe there's somebody else that goes. But for me, I think that the pending UFAs have got to be on the move for sure. And then you sort of sort it out from there.
Weaver, happy birthday to Senior. Pass that on from all of us at WST. And thank you again for that amazing camera turnaround. Great quote from Issue Boy Bruce. Kenny was waiting to flex on us, and I appreciate it. It was great. Listen, WST is worldwide, from Milan to Mexico, and now right back here to the Peg. It's beautiful out right now, I can tell you. The skate trail is packed every day, so But we'll look forward to seeing you back here. Have a wonderful rest of the trip. Enjoy the rest of these games, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week about this Olympic hockey tourney as things get real in the elimination round. All the best, buddy.
Thanks, my man. Great to be with you, and have a great week, everybody at home, and a great weekend when it arrives here. Cheers.
Good stuff. All right, there's our pal Ken Wiebe from the Winnipeg Free Press on a little bit of vacay, but always having time for the people of Winnipeg and Winnipeg Sports Talk. Hey, thanks, folks. If you missed yesterday's program, had a great sit down with Andrea Senebold from the HSC Foundation. They of course have their big gala, not next week, but the following week, and the number one auction prize is that ultimate fly-in fishing getaway with yours truly out to Aikens Lake. The bidding is open now. You don't necessarily have to be at the gala to win the bid. And the website is givergy.ca/savor 2026. Go check it out. There's a couple of awesome Jets prizes. There's a couple of amazing chef's table opportunities. So many great things, and the money all goes to support the very important work at the HSC Foundation. But in particular, the silent auction, the fishing getaway with us is 3 days and nights out at the one-of-a-kind Aikens Lake Wilderness Lodge. We'll be out there. Our expert guides will take us, will get us on fish. They'll make us gourmet shore lunches, and then we'll have an amazing time at Big Molly's and back at the camp in the evening when we really experience what the Aikens experience is all about. If you want more information on Aikens Lake, you can go to aikenslake.com. But again, I urge all of you to go check out everything up for auction in support of the HSC Foundation at givergy.ca/savor 2026. And I hope to be rolling with one of you for 3 days this summer out at Aikens Lake. It is so much fun, and we'll be looking forward to seeing who wins. And the bar was set pretty high with the Larville boys last year. Wayne had never fished before, and a perfect Aikens story. Third day out, just before lunch, pulls a 29-inch Grand Master walleye out of the lake. So get on that auction, folks, and hopefully we'll see you. We'll see you there. Hey, our friends at BP are doing it up big this weekend. Of course, they opened at 9:30 this morning for the game. They'll be open early for all the Canada games, so make plans to get together with your gang at Boston Pizza for it. Schooners of your favorite Canadian beers. For the morning games, they'll be doing a breakfast pizza with melted cheese, egg, and smoky bacon. And this is Valentine's Day, of course, on Saturday. So it's the heart-shaped pizzas from BP. $1 from every heart-shaped pizza goes to the HSC Children's Hospital. If you haven't tried those salted caramel panukis, the desserts, it is to die for. I've been known to get them every now and then, probably more often than I should, but they're so damn good. $1 from those also going to the HSC, and 100% of all the paper heart donations. So get in, maybe grab your sweetheart, go in for a heart-shaped pizza, grab one of these salted caramel panukis, help raise funds, and these all go to CK5, the Childhood Cancer, Blood Disorders, and Transplant Wards, where young patients with some of the most challenging and complex illnesses spend weeks or months receiving care. Share the love at BP in support of the Children's Hospital today and through the weekend at your local BP. I know Connor will probably be back on in a minute. If you're seeing this right here, I've got my Canada hockey hoodie This one is from Royal, just in time for the Olympics. And if you realize, holy smokes, I haven't been down to Royal yet and got my Canada Olympic gear, well, don't wait. We got another game tomorrow afternoon. So your Olympic headquarters for so much of the merch for Team Canada is Royal Sports. Nobody has more stock than Royal. They've also got some great World Cup gear. But as you want to get, some Canada mitts, like the old school ones back from 2010. They've got those, great, very affordable as well, and all sorts of Canada's hoods, hatties, and of course the jerseys of Team Canada. Man, that Crosby one looks good. All geared up at Royal Sports Winnipeg with the hats, you name it. Right now, it's a big run on the stuff, so I'd suggest you get there earlier than later. Nothing like Royal, 750 Pembina Highway. And check them out on Instagram as well, at Royal Sports Winnipeg, for the latest merchandise drops and sale information. I'm going to bring the boys back in here, but let's first give a big cheers to our friends at Winnipeg's favorite local brewery, Little Brown Jug.
You train day in and day out, learning new techniques, approaching new concepts, and living out the thrill of achieving your goals. Building a craft beer is no different. While you spend your hours on the ice, we spend ours here, brewing our trademark beer. Again, and again. Here's to pushing the status quo and challenging ourselves to build something memorable. 1919 by Little Brown Jug.
All right, good stuff. Gonna go for a 1919 right now to victory. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of people doing that tomorrow afternoon. If you popped in late, this is the way things are working tomorrow. We will start the show at 1 o'clock as we normally do. We will get you ready for Canada, Switzerland, the latest stories from the Olympic Games. And we'll also, I teased this earlier, T. Konopali. It's a big weekend for the Moose. We've been waiting. Tomorrow's the day. Tyrell Bauer's going to come on the show as well. We'll get his thoughts on the Olympics. We'll talk to him about his season. And we'll look at the Moose getting back in the second half of the year after the All-Star break with a couple big games at home. And we will have chances to win tickets as well on Winnipeg Sports Talk for the games on Saturday and the holiday Monday at 2 p.m. So Tyrell Bauer tomorrow on the show, and an Olympic preview to get you ready for the game. When the puck drops, we're done the first half of the program. And then at 5 o'clock, or it'll be more like probably about 4:40, 4:45. As soon as the game's over, Connor, Remo, I think Liz is going to pop in, maybe Brandon, and they'll quarterback a little bit of post-game coverage and kind of do essentially a post-half second part of the program for us on WST tomorrow. So a busy day. Get ready for the game with us at 1 o'clock. We'll have Tyrell Bauer. We'll do many of our regular stuff. And then after the game, as soon as the final buzzer goes, Connor will take over, and he and Reem will get you up to date on everything that happened and the big stories coming out of the game tomorrow here on Winnipeg Sports Talk. All right, I want to bring the guys in, but first up, let's get to the Chuds Power Sports Power Poll. I had a special power poll for today. Obviously, we'll get back to the NHL weekly when the NHL is back, but it's all about the Olympics. And we figured today's power poll, we're going to power poll the top stories for Canada coming out of game number 1. Number 5, it's got to be Old Faithful. And when I say Old Faithful, I mean the guys that we know have been doing it for a long time that showed up big time today. Let's start off with Sidney Crosby. He was brilliant, magnificent. And not to mention his line mate, Mark Stone, who I know many people didn't even have on the roster this year. He's having a monster season. He did miss some time, but he's been incredibly productive. He's got that stick. He and Crosby, along with Mitch Marner, are going to be, tasked with a lot of the top matchups as the tournament goes on. I thought they were great, and Drew Doughty as well. So some of the old heads really stepped up and made it happen. Now, number 4 is death sentence. What is that? That's what happens if you take a penalty against Canada, because that power play right now is humming at a level that, I mean, it really is a death sentence for opposition when Canada's able to throw over the boards the likes of McKinnon, McDavid, Makar, and Sidney Crosby, Sam Reinhart getting a run with those guys as well. So the power play as advertised, that is number 4. Number 3 was the new blood of this team. I mean, how good did Macklin Celebrini look out there? The guy could have been playing in the World Juniors. He's now in the Olympic Games. He's on Canada's top line. He was phenomenal. And some other guys making debuts in the Olympics and in best on best. Bo Horvat, Nick Suzuki. They were great. Both scored in the game today. So the newcomers really had a strong one. Now, number 2, never nervous, apparently, Jordan Binnington. What a performance in the game. I mean, we did our players of the game earlier. I felt I owed it to him to pick him after all of my skepticism after the team and the season that he's had so far this year. Still have to do it when he's back in. But, I mean, what a start and what a statement from Jordan Binnington with the way that he played today. Far more composed than we've seen him in a long time. They couldn't get to him in the third period when Faxa basically just rolled over him. He was above it. He was locked in. He was perfect today. Number 2, Jordan Binnington, never nervous indeed. And number 1, it's on a mission, the leaders of this team. And I'm talking Connor McDavid and I'm talking Nathan McKinnon. Those are the 2 alphas of Team Canada. And both of them looked like they were, frankly, possessed at times in this game. McDavid, clearly the star of the game with the 3 points. I thought McKinnon was dangerous every time he was on the ice, mixing and trying to finding the right line mates for McKinnon. And then the Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon power play goal really, I think, sums it all up. So a lot of great Game 1 takeaways for Canada. Those are my 5 for the Chuds Power Sports Power Poll, brought to you by Manitoba's Power Sports Superstore for over 80 years up in Gimli, Chuds Power Sports. Check them out at chudspowersports.com. Let's bring the boys back in. And Connor, what'd you think? Did I nail most of it on the top 5 for the power poll for today's game?
I think so, Huss. I think the one thing that I would put in there that maybe isn't on the list is maybe something along the lines of like defensive uncertainty answered with the Josh Morrissey injury and Thomas Harley stepping up, Drew Doughty playing a great game as well. I think maybe that it was a takeaway that we weren't looking, or maybe we were looking at it going into the game, looking at Canada's bottom pairing and some of their questionable choices that we were maybe discussing going into the week. So I like your 5 takeaways. I would have maybe put something on the bottom of the blue line, and especially so with Josh Morrissey going out and Thomas Harley stepping up. But overall, for me, Huss, that's a good list.
I didn't want to focus too much on the blue line issues because it surrounds the Josh Morrissey injury, and I'm hoping, as everyone is, that he'll be able to get back into the tournament at some point. Now, I mean, obviously we had Mike and Ken on. I know we've been paying much attention to this USA game.
I have been. So the USA have scored 3 goals, but only 1 has counted. I don't know if Matt Prefontaine is Latvian and he's up there video coaching, getting all these challenges done. But no, they scored a goal that was just barely offside, but it was offside. Brock Nelson entered the zone a little early. And then they just scored another one, but it got called back as well. And it was JT Miller kind of making contact with the goalie, not really, but both of his skates were in the blue paint at one point, I believe. I don't know if Remis has a better pulse on that, but the double IHF rules maybe a little bit different for goaltender interference, but that one got called back as well. So last I checked, it was still 1-1. And Latvia has had 2 goals that they've taken away from the U.S. courtesy of the video review.
Yeah, I watched that without sound, and I couldn't hear what they were saying on the commentary, but he was in the blue paint. You can't go in the blue in international rules, so I wasn't surprised that one was overturned. Even if he wasn't necessarily interfered with, there's pretty strict rules about going in the blue paint. So this wasn't like, Brett Hall stick in the corner. Like he was well in there. So I thought that was a good call. And, Austin Matthews took a high hit. I don't know if he's... That
was heavy. I couldn't believe in Olympic play that wasn't... he has returned to the game. I thought, he would have been quiet roomed, like what happened in the NHL. But I mean, I didn't really see the entire play. I just saw the close-up on it. Shocked that wasn't probably a 5-minute penalty in Olympic hockey.
Yeah, and Latvia shortly after that scored their one goal. I think that was like on the same shift, and then they've taken 2 back as well. And they even had a glorious chance that I think just deflected off the stick of Matt Boldy, who was sliding. And look, like, these games are weird, man. Like, you take 2 goals back, suddenly your bench is alive. They almost went up 2-1, and suddenly maybe Latvia was going in with a 2-1 lead or something, feeling like, oh, maybe we could do this. But yeah, right now 1-1, and the Germany-Denmark game also 1-1. Leon Draisaitl scored, I think, 3 minutes into that one, got Germany on the board.
Oh, nice.
And it's still 1-1. Yeah, you had a little ticket there,
I
Huss?
did. I did. We lock
There
shopped it up. I'm like, Dusty, we were talking about the games today, and I'm like, how do we not take a Draisaitl goal right around even money? So Dry is in. And with 3 seconds left, I just saw all the States players had their arms in the air. It was the ding, ding, the double doink, post crossbar out, no goal as well for it. So they're all over it. But what did you think of the goal against Hellebuck? Kind of a tough goalmouth scramble. I mean, tons of players in there, and just a guy whacked it in on, really not much time to react.
Yeah, Huss, I could say something really like tongue-in-cheek that Jordan Binnington has less goals against than Connor Hellebuck already in the tournament. No, but I mean, yeah, nothing really on Connor Hellebuck there. The puck was sitting in the slot for a good 3 seconds, and there were sticks and bodies and people trying to clear it, and it just seemed like the U.S., while there were like maybe 5 sticks trying to clear the puck, they couldn't, and Latvia got to it first, and kind of a tough shot to read is kind of a backhand that just went over the blocker side of Hellebuck. We know he likes to play deep in his net, and a net front scramble that just kind of sits there, and then a backhand shot that goes kind of over the blocker side is a tough one for a goalie to stop. So, I saw Kyle Connor out there contributing to some chances too. He's on a line with Tage Thompson and Dylan Larkin to start the tournament. So lots to watch for in this game, even though it is USA Latvia and it is 1-1, but we're expecting the US to kind of roll here. We'll see if that's the case in the final 2 periods. It kind of took Canada a period too. Like the first period was probably Czechia's best, and then the final 40, Canada just rolled them. So we'll see if the US can do the same against what is projected to be a much weaker opponent in Latvia.
Yeah, as we finish the show, 1-1 in both of the games, Latvia, USA, Germany, Denmark, both at the end of the first period. Now, listen, before we get to a look ahead to tomorrow's games, a couple big ones, Finland, Sweden at 5 in the morning, and then, of course, Canada, Switzerland at 2:10. Remo, we should get to our Bizarro Olympic story of the day. It seems like there's a new one every time we do a show.
Yes. We talked earlier this week about the guy who admitted that he was cheating after winning bronze medal. I think the verdict was, I think that was bad luck for him, and that guy's got a questionable past. But this one coming from NBC News, Reuters, says, police have arrested a 44-year-old Slovak national on Wednesday evening, acting on a warrant issued against him by Italian prosecutors 16 years earlier, their police force said in a statement. Despite being on the Italian police wanted list, the Slovak man returned to the country to follow the national hockey team at the Winter Olympics. So this guy doesn't care that there's a warrant out him, gonna support his team in their upset victory yesterday against Finland. So the police tracked down the man after he checked in at a guest house on the outskirts of Milan and took him to the Central San Vittore prison. The man who had planned to attend Slovakia's opening game on Wednesday, so he didn't even get to make it there.
Oh, that was my question. Did he at least get to see the win over Finland?
He has 11 months and 7 days to serve for a string of shop thefts he committed in 2010. That's from the police. And yes, Slovakia did upset Finland with a win yesterday. What
Olympic hockey, it just means more.
What? I guess he couldn't. I mean, he was so pumped. It's been 12 years in the making here, and Slovakia had the elite run in 2010. I should pull up my Slovakia jersey that I have in my closet right now. But if you got a warrant out, I mean, you can't really return to the country. That's balls on this guy.
You need at least a different alias or something like that. I mean, fake passport or I don't know. Well. Tough.
It's bad.
I respect him for feeling that this was so important that he needed to take the chance of going back to a country where there's been a warrant out for him for 16 years to watch his team. And, maybe it makes it even worse that they won the game and he would have been there, but unfortunately was in a jail cell as opposed to
Tough
in
go.
a seat.
That's got to be so. Yeah, you got to feel like maybe it was worth the risk of the 12 months in jail that he's gonna have to do. But if he would have seen that win, I think you'd be okay with 12 months in jail, right?
Well, you know what? Some of these crazies out there, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. He probably wasn't even able to resell his ticket.
Probably not.
That thing was just an empty seat. Hopefully his friends had like a tribute to him or something like that.
Brought an extra jersey and laid it on the seat. Buddy.
Laid it on the seat as he did that. That is the big one. Great news for our curling teams. The Home and Empire rolled. They beat the Danes 10-4. And Brad Jacobs with a big win yesterday against the Germans 6-5. I believe that was an extra end, but a nice start for both of the Canadians. Now, before we get to the Cool Bet lines, busy week for the Bombers with all the signings. Remo, I see our pal Ed Tate has just tweeted out that Kyle Walters just finished a session with the media. And our biggest, probably the question we've asked the most over the last 6 months about the Bombers, what the heck is going on with Taylor Elgersma? He said not much has changed. He's still waiting for an NFL opportunity, but from Ed's take, Walters was clearly frustrated with the lack of clarity this far into February. I haven't seen like that UFL schedule as to when it is. I used to love the XFL because it started this week. Like the Super Bowl would finish and then the XFL would go and you could still have football on the weekends. We don't have that now. He was on the list of, I think, the Birmingham team as a potential quarterback. And I guess if I'm him and he's that desperate to have 4 down tape available for NFL teams to give him a chance, he'll play in that. But I mean, we're all hoping in Winnipeg that he would come back here, spend a year with the Bombers in the same quarterback room with Zach Collaros and then take it from there. But from all accounts, guys, it doesn't sound like Taylor Elgersma is on his way anytime soon to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, you can go ahead, Connor, here.
Sure, yeah. I mean, like, Elgersma, it would be perfect for him to come in, like you said, Huss, and be the backup to Collaros for a year and learn from him and then just take over a la Mahomes and Alex Smith, right? Like Kansas City Chiefs style. Have him learn for a year from the veteran and then come in and hopefully be the guy going forward. So it would be great for the Bombers. But yeah, interesting that we've been following this story for a while now and nothing's really changed. He's just kind of still waiting for an NFL opportunity. We just saw the Super Bowl being played. Like the draft is coming up. Again, there's another year of draft players coming into the NFL in a couple months and teams will take quarterbacks and want them in their practice squads and all of those things. So I don't know. It's interesting, and I can get the frustration from a Bombers perspective because everything we've heard on Taylor Elgersma is just, he's waiting for an NFL opportunity. And it's just been that over and over and over again with seemingly no clarity coming anytime soon. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're the Bombers, the guy's just going to sit and wait. I think realistically, like you saw what just happened with Nathan Rourke, where you get on a practice roster and have the most incredible play in NFL preseason history that goes totally viral, and you're getting cut, you're moving from team to team. You're Nathan Rourke, an MOP, the MOP of the CFL, can't get a look in the NFL. Why do you think, that it's going to go different for you? But I guess the reward is so high. If you do eventually make it, you might as well exhaust every opportunity you can. And we'll see. I don't know what the Bombers offered him to try to entice him to sign with them, but he's obviously got his mindset, right or wrong, if you think, on the NFL, and you just got to wait and think it's going to play itself out one way or another. But if Nathan Rourke can't get a fair shot, I don't know why, he's never played American, he's been a Canadian college quarterback, why they would even look in his direction. He had to sniff in Green Bay. He played well, but like it doesn't matter. We saw Nathan Rourke. If you saw if he's not going to stick on with anyone, how would any other quarterback have a chance? Nathan Rourke is the CFL MOP.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, with all due respect to Taylor Elgersma, I mean, I don't think we're putting him in any sort of Nathan Rourke category right now. Had a great Canadian Football League career. I mean, Rourke was doing it down south. His, what's funny, that Indiana team with Mendoza, who transferred from Cal at the end of last year that went over, that it was Curtis Rourke that was their quarterback the previous year in their first big turnaround season under Cignetti. He ended up being a 7th-round pick of the Niners. The other thing for Elgersma that's not really in his favor is that there's a whole nother class of quarterbacks coming out right now from the NCAA. No, guys will retire and whatnot, but, I mean, the football factory coming from U.S. college football never stops. And, I mean, the only benefit to him maybe is that there's so much money in NIL right now. Maybe there's a few guys that don't come out and he gets a chance earlier. But bottom line, I think most people realize that his best chance, I think, for a long career would be coming to Canada, getting into the room with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and trying to set himself up as the heir apparent to Zach Collaros. But that doesn't seem like it's happening anytime soon. All right, let's head over to our old friends at CoolBet at coolbet.com and check out what we've got going on right now. If you want to get in on these games for Latvia, the USA, Germany still seems to be a minus 233 favorite. USA is still minus 3.5, although it's plus 154. I mean, I don't even mind that because they've been so far ahead. Like, they could easily be up 3-1 right now. You could see the dam break at some point, but the games we'll be paying attention to tomorrow. Early game, Finland, Sweden, 5:10 a.m. Huge game. Finns losing their first game to the Slovaks. They're plus 155. The Swedes minus 133. And then Canada, obviously a massive favorite, minus 769 against the Swiss. Swiss plus 550. Canada's puck line is 2.5. So Canada win by 3 is minus 129. The Swedes to win by 2 is plus 160. You can get Finland plus a goal and a half at plus 190. Curling, we've got in the men, Canada and the USA. They're playing tonight at 2 a.m. Canada's a big favorite in that one, minus 625. The spread, the rock line, if you will, minus 3.5. And in the women, Canada is also playing the USA and is even a bigger favorite. Rachel Holman, minus 1,000. And Canada, minus 3.5 at minus 112. All sorts of options up at the Olympics. We've got the giant slalom, the 4x6 kilometer biathlon relay, if you want to get into that. The French are the favorite at minus 182. Wish I had some more information on that, but I really don't know. And a 7.5 kilometer sprint in the biathlon. Lou Jaumont from France is the winner, or is the favorite to be the winner at 3-1. No huge favorite in that one. Julia Simon from France, and then a Swede and an Italian, and another Swede, all at 7-1. Top 3 betting as well on these. You want to have some fun, make a few bets. It's all there for you over at CoolBet. Make sure to check out the promos for the hockey. You've got 2 10% profit boosts that you can use in the preliminary round, and then 3 in the elimination round. I got in on a couple of those. And then the golf is going on as well. So we got live. By the way, guys, anyways, if you haven't played a CoolBet, use promo code WST. Double your bonus up to $200 on your first deposit. Remo, just before I want an update on your viral tweet about the board ads and where things are at right now, did you guys happen to see the highlight of Bryson DeChambeau today from Live in Australia?
No.
He topped a drive off the tee. He duffed it. It went like 60 yards. I mean, just shocking for a guy like that to do it. But what happened next was even better. He doesn't handle stupid things. Like, he didn't really laugh it off. He gets all in his head or whatever, rolls up, grabs like a metal fairway wood and rips it to about 15 feet and then still birdied the hole. The Duff birdie. Only Bryson. What a guy. So that happened there. But Remo, can we get an update on the latest groundswell of support for your take that the best thing about Olympic hockey is no digital board ads?
Yeah, I'm going viral. I was trending on Twitter. I thought you wanted to talk about the letter that the Oshawa Generals sent out to their season ticket holders, saying, this is from Oshawa. We'll get to the tweet, but this is from Oshawa season ticket holders. We're thrilled to have you with us each and every game and appreciate the energy you bring to the arena to help ensure a clean, comfortable, and enjoyable experience for everyone. We kindly ask for your cooperation with a few simple hygiene practices. Please make sure to use of the hand sanitizing stations located throughout the arena, cover coughs and sneezes, and be mindful of personal cleanliness while sharing our space with fellow fans. If you went to the gym or did something that produced body odor, please shower before attending the game.
I would love to find out what prompted that letter. Like, that has to be the first team in hockey history that's had to send a letter out to all their season ticket holders to shower before the games and not stink up the rink.
I started reading this. It sounds like a normal letter that you'd send. People are sick. Coughs are going around. Like, cover your mouth, wash your hands. That's normal. Then when it gets to, if you went to the gym or did something that produced, I don't know, whatever you're doing that gives you body odor, shower before the game. What happened at that game, Huss, that people need to be reminded? Was it more than one person, or did one guy go in and stink up the whole arena? We need to get to the bottom of what prompted this letter from the Oshawa Generals of the OHL to their season ticket holders.
The funniest thing is, like, fans of all the other teams in the OHL are just having a field day with this. These, the stinky bums in Oshawa, people need to be warned to shower before the game. What's going on there? Obviously, they'll have a field day. Looks like Germany's just scored. I don't know who got it, but Germany. Timmy Stützle from JJ Peterka and Wojtek Stachowiak. It's 2-1. So both Draisaitl and Stützle have scored. Our boy Nicky Ehlers has an assist on Denmark's lone goal. 2-1 right now, early in the second. And 1-1, still just waiting to drop the puck here in the second period for USA and Latvia. Remo, you claimed earlier this week that you're going to get up at 5 in the morning. Connor, you too. Are you guys still confident that 5 a.m. you will be there? Like, if I get up at 5:30 or 6, will I see a tweet or two about this game from you two, tracking what's happening in this big Finland-Sweden game?
I will be up. I did not wait 12 years for Best on Best to return to not wake up at 5 in the morning for Finland, Sweden. I am so excited for this game. Like, it's the Canada USA rivalry for them. It's their biggest game. Like, next to a medal, this is the most important game on their schedule for these two teams. So I'm so fired up. I will be there. And then I'll go right back to bed when the game ends.
You, Reem?
I won't be able to go back to bed. My game will probably be done at 7:30, right? I'll have to drive my kids to school. So
true.
Yeah, I'll probably. Oh wait, tomorrow is at 5?
It's like, tomorrow 5 a.m.
I'll probably do it. It kind of
that wasn't very convincing. That wasn't very convincing. I expect Connor will be Connor will be on. And you know what's funny? Normally, I would say 0 chance that I would be up to see that. However, I have been playing hurt. I've been very sick this week. I've seemingly sleep for like 4 hours after every show. I wouldn't be surprised if I just am up then, because I've slept so much before then. So I could. By the way, I'm going to take the Finns. I'm taking the Finns tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Big bounce back game. I'm putting that with Canada at -2.5 goals. I think when I put that into CoolBet, it was I think I used one of the 10% profit boosts, in fact, on it. What do we have here? Yeah, Finland, Sweden. Finland to win, Canada minus 2.5. And then use that profit boost on it. So $25 ends up paying 120. So let's go Finns. Get back into this. I'm hoping that the Swedes beat the Slovaks, and we have a 3-way tie at 6 points. And it gets sort of interesting in that one pool. I don't think it's going to be interesting in Canada's pool. Maybe it'll be interesting in the USA's pool. 1-1. Latvia's on the power play right now. We'll see what happens the rest of these games. But as the Italian goalie showed us yesterday, nothing can be taken for granted except for the inevitability of Team Canada. What a start today, guys, to the event. I guess now we just do a prayer circle for Josh Morrissey to try to get him back in this tournament. And otherwise, confidence levels very high with the return of best on best, and our NHLers looking as good as we could have possibly hoped today.
NHL's looking good, and the broadcast looking really good with no digital board ads. We have to get to this. This was my tweet yesterday. The best part of Olympic hockey. I just put that out there after the show. Just a thought. 314,000 views on X. I was a trending topic. Shout out to Thomas Drance of The Athletic for boosting that, weighing in. Don't these games look incredible? And Connor, I know you're going to like this about Olympic hockey. The games start at the time that they're scheduled to start at.
Yes.
They don't say that they're starting at 2:10 and they got, a 20-minute pregame and then a ceremony and it starts at 2:30. They start when they say they're going to start. TV timeouts are minimal. I understand you can't do that in the NHL, but Olympic hockey, loving the look. They don't have graphics on the ice that tell you how much time is left on the power play. When it's right up here, I can see it with my own eyes. I don't need like 5 graphics saying the time left on the power play, hockey producers. So I've been really enjoying the production and the super panel with James Duthie hosting, Kevin Bieksa, who is it? Is it Cheryl Pounder, Cassie Campbell-Pascal? Who else is on there? And Elliot Friedman. Although Cheryl was doing the women's game, so she wasn't on today. So, but I'll give myself a pat on the back. People agree, Huss. 1,300 likes on my tweet, 99 retweets.
Remis, I'll just, congrats on the viral tweet. I'll try and take some of that magic and just tweet out the best part of Olympic hockey is the scheduled puck drop times actually being on time, because that's my favorite part. The funny part is you look at the NHL's app and it says like 5 a.m. tomorrow for Finland, Sweden. So the NHL's marketing it as 5 a.m. But then you go on the Olympic site and it's 5:10, and that puck will hit the ice at 5:10. Like the Olympics are actually saying when the puck will hit the ice, but yet the NHL on their app still is holding like to this like 10-minute before BS where like, oh, the game starts at 5, but like we don't really know when the puck will be down on the ice. Like the scheduled start times are just so all over the place in the NHL. I love the fact that the Olympics are like 5:10 today, 9:40 a.m. Canada and Czechia were playing hockey by 9:41. It was awesome.
2:10 tomorrow. We will be stopping the show. We will go live from 1 o'clock. And you know what? We say this and we're notorious for starting the show at 1:03 or 1:04, but we'll do our best to be on right there at 1 up until puck drop. And then there will be afterwards. There probably won't be a marble race tomorrow. Well, maybe there will be. Maybe they'll do it afterwards. But we've got Tyrell Bauer coming on. There's going to be a lot of work to be done. So that's TBD. How's that? Join us tomorrow and you can bully us into doing it at some point in the chat, I'm sure. But yes, it will not be at the regular time. If you're normally a person that like sets your thing, I got to get it at 2:45. That won't be the case. But afterwards, Canada wins and covers the spread. Maybe Remis will do that afterwards. But yeah, 1 to 2:10, the main show, and then the gang will take over with post-game coverage to kind of complete our programming for the day. As soon as the final buzzer finishes, get back over here to Winnipeg Sports Talk for all the reaction from hopefully another big Canada win. Great day today. So good to have our national team back with the best in the world. And man, they looked the part today. 5-0 win over the Czechs. Get well soon, Josh Morrissey. Thanks again to all the sponsors that make the show happen each and every day. And all of you for popping by. Enjoy the rest of these games this afternoon. and we will see you tomorrow, 1 p.m., taking you right up till puck drop, and then afterwards with post-game coverage here on Winnipeg Sports Talk.
Oh my God! Oh! Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for tuning in to Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast feed at winnipegsportstalk.com.